Of the chapter, The Proposal. As we know, this is a play of a first flight book. Now, The Proposal is a one act play that begins with a young man. As I told you, the play has three characters, that is Lomov, who is the neighbor of Chubukov. Third is Natalia, Chubukov's only daughter. So Lomov presenting a marriage proposal to his neighbor's daughter. Before he could actually convey it to the girl, they enter into an argument about the possession of a land known as Oxen Meadows. Chubukov, the lady's father, also joined the heated discussion. After they end this, they entered into another argument about the dogs, which one is better than the other. In the midst of all this proposal gets forgotten until Lomov falls off due to his palpitations, and Chubukov instantly puts the daughter's hands in Lomov's. Unfortunately, the quarreling still continues. So let's start with the summary of the play. Paridhi, please start reading.
The curtain rises with Lomov entering his neighbor Shubukov's house fully dressed up in his evening attire. Shubukov is surprised to see him well dressed and asks him the occasion. Lomov reveals that he had come to make a request. Shubukov anticipates that he must have come to ask for money, which he doesn't mind intend on giving. On being revealed that Lomov had come to ask for Shubukov's daughter, Natalia's hand in marriage, Shubukov gets filled with excitement and leaves to call Natalia. Lomov is 35-year-old gentleman who suffers from palpitations, get upset very easily, and doesn't sleep well. He thinks it is the best age for him to get married, and he is happy that he has his mind made up about Natalia. According to him, Natalia is average looking and a good housekeeper. When Natalia arrives, Lumov begins the conversation about how grateful and glad he he is he is
Any problem, Paridhi? Just a moment, please. Okay. Now, till now, what we have read is that Lomov was in Chubukov's house to propose Natalia. When he shares his intention with Chubukov, Natalia's father, he was happy to know that, and he was happy to give Natalia's hand in marriage. Now, Lomov is a 35-year-old gentleman who suffers from palpitations. Palpitations is like, you can say, kind of a panic situation where the person is, when he's too excited or when he's too anxious, his heart beats at a very fast rate, right? So he gets upset very easily and he doesn't sleep well. Now he is telling Lomov here that what is the reason, and that he feels now it's high time for him to get married now. As he suffers from palpitations, he's not able to sleep well. He's at the best stage for this is the best stage for him to get married, and he's happy that he has his mind made up about that Natalia, and he feels that Natalia is a real nice girl. She's a good homemaker, right? And he begins the conversation about how grateful and glad he is that both their families are on good terms since the very beginning. Now, after this conversation with Shubukov, now Lomov wants to meet Natalia to propose her directly, right? Now, when Natalia comes, their discussion starts. Chubukov is a bit reluctant to propose a girl straight away. So, in a way, he just, gives a kind of a background. He just lays a foundation to propose her. So he tells that my grandparents knew your grandparents very well. My family is so much well to do. Yours is so much well to do. So in that process, perhaps he was showing that we are the perfect match for each other, right? While talking in that manner, there comes a point when he says that that our oxen meadow touch your birchwood trees, right? At this point, Natalia is a bit shocked. She says, your oxen meadows belong to us, right? And that was the point when that soft discussion converts into a soft talk turns into a discussion, and then further the discussion turns into a hot debate, right? A hot argument. So let's start reading from this point when Natalia arrives. Aditya, please start reading. Aditya Chaudhary.
When Natalia arrives, Lomov begins the When Natalia arrives, Lomov begins the conversation about how grateful and glad he is that both their family are on good terms since the very beginning. While continuing to talk about his land, he somehow mentioned about Oxen Meadows, which earlier was a disputed property but is now his. Natalia couldn't believe a word he was saying because she believes that Oxen Meadows belonged to her family. Both of them entered into a heated discussion and act childishly when Chubukov enters just to get the conversation more heated. They shout and scream while Lomov suffers from extreme pounding of the heart and upside pull and a numb foot. They throw Lomov out of the house and continue cursing him. While speaking ill of him, Chubukov uh, unintentionally reveals that he had come with a marriage proposal for Natalia, which surprises Natalia and she immediately regrets sending him out. She tells her father to bring him back immediately, and Chubikov curses himself on being a father of a grown up daughter. When Lomov returns, Natalia tries to deviate to another topic and start talking about shooting. Somehow, they enter into an argument involving their dog.
Okay, wait. Now, when they're discussing on the possession of Oxen Meadows, the discussion is actually so much heated that it transforms into a quarrel. And both of them, whether it was Lomov or whether it was Natalia, they become so rude. They start talking ill of each other's family. Just a few moments before, Lomov was also full of praises for her family and for Natalia, and now the two of them, they are talking all rubbish about each other's family, accusing each other. They came to the point that the land was perhaps given to the to Natalia's grandparents. The peasants who were working there, the land was given to them to work upon it, and in return, they were making bricks for Lomov's family, right? But that giving of the land was for such an elaborated time that perhaps they assumed it to be their own land. The puzzle to whom actually the Oxen Meadows belonged was not solved because it converted into a fight and Lomov had to leave the house. They accused each other. They talk about the bad character of their families, and all sort of accusations were there between two of them, right? Till now, Natalia was not aware why Lomov was there at her house. What was the purpose of his visit? That was still not known to Natalia. It was, and the strange part here was that when two of them were fighting, though Chibukov was very well aware of Lomov's intention to marry Natalia, but still he also became a part of the debate, became a part of the argument, and he forgot that, and he also spoke ill of Lomov and his family. So when Lomov went out of the house in that fighting situation, right? It was after that that Lomov started criticizing his daughter. That you spoke ill of him, and you know that he was there to propose you. When Natalia learns that he was there to propose her behavior immediately changes. We find now the same girl who was just talking ill of that man. She tells her father that I want him back at any cost. So again, as I told you in the beginning itself, the three of them are very weird, right? Lomov, who was so desperate to marry few minutes before, he was full of praises for Natalia and her family. Now he was accusing her and her family, right? Natalia, who was just using using abusive words and talking about bad character of his family, of his great grandparents and elderly. Now when she learned that he was there to marry her, his intention was to marry her. She wanted him back at any cost. And now let's have a look at Chubukov's character. Chubukov, as a father, being an elderly person, should be talking sensible. right? He should not be a part of the argument when the two of them were fighting on the topic of Oxen Meadows, on the possession of Oxen Meadows, right? If he wanted, if he would have been sensible enough, he could stop the fight there and then. But he didn't do so. Rather, he also intervened in between, and he also fought on the topic of Oxen Meadows. Now, when Natalia tells his father that I want him back at any cost, at that time he starts criticizing and cursing himself being a father of an elderly girl, because it's a big burden upon his shoulders, and he feels how things are going to happen. He doesn't know. So, but he has to go because his daughter forces him. So he has to go and call back Lomov again. Now, when Lomov is back, right now the discussion now Natalia simply tells him, okay, dear, I sorry, it was my mistake. I thought Oxen Meadows are ours, but Oxen Meadows are actually yours. Okay, wo aapke hain. You can take it all yours. She's a very clever girl. She's money minded. She understands कि अगर मैं उसके भी बोलूंगी, then also ultimately it's going to be mine only, right? Once they get married, then also the Oxen Meadows will be hers, right? So this smart girl, she changes the track immediately. And she says, okay, let's not talk about it. I'm sorry about it. If they are yours, let's talk something else. Now, the discussion, the general conversation starts about dogs, right? And again, this so called general conversation, normal conversation, converts into a hot discussion, and discussion converts into a further a quarrel, right? So let's read from this. Just a moment, please. Okay, please read from this point. They throw Lomov out of the house and continue cursing him.
They throw Lomov out of the house and continue cursing him. While speaking ill of him, Shubukov unintentionally reveals that he had come with a marriage proposal for Natalia, which surprises Natalia, and she immediately regrets sending him out. She tells her father to bring him back immediately, and Shubukov curses himself again.
Aditya, be a little slow. Why are you running so much?
On being a father of a grown-up daughter. When Lomov returns, Natalia tries to deviate to another topic and starts talking about shooting. Somehow they enter into an argument involving their dogs. Natalia feels that her squeezer is better than Lomov's guess. They continue arguing when Chubukov enters the scene only to make the situation worse once again. Everyone gets hyper and Lomov finally falls due to his palpitations. Even then, the cursing continues when suddenly Natalia notices that he is unconscious. They try to get water down his throat but end up getting unsuccessful and declare him dead. It is only when Lomov moves a little bit, they feed him some water, and Chubukov forcefully hands over Natalia's hand to him, gives his blessings, and asks them to kiss. Lomov, still not fully conscious, doesn't understand what is going on. When he finally comes into to his senses, he expresses his excitement and kisses Natalia's hands. Natalia, being childish as she is, manipulates him into accepting that Squeezer is better than Guess. But Lomov, being adamant as he is, refuses to accept it. Thus, once again, the quarreling continues.
Okay, now here the story ends. See, now the discussion starts on dogs. Is Squeezer better than Guess, or the Guess better than Squeezer? They talk about breed, they talk about the dog's activeness, they talk about who runs fast, who lost the race, right? And the discussion again converts into a big hot quarrel. Now, the two of them, they were not willing to give up. Now, everybody is aware that they were talking about the proposal, and somewhere directly or indirectly, Natalia has given her consent for the marriage, but still they're fighting. And now the ironical part here at the end, what we find is Lomov, who knows that they are there to marry. They want to marry each other. The boy is there to propose. The father has given his consent. The girl has given her consent, right? Still, they are in that quarreling mode. But they don't give up thinking that they have to get married. So Lomov, as a father, he feels even if they are quarreling and he's suffering from palpitations, Lomov, who is lying unconscious, right? In between they talk, is he dead? Oh my God, if he's dead, then how is he going to marry me? That is what Nachalya is thinking about it, right? And he gets water for him. And in that state of confusion, fear, and anxiousness and anxiety, what everything is going on in between, still Lomov in that state of confusion also, Chibukov in that state of fear also, anxiousness also, he gives Lomov's, Nachalya's hand in Chibukov's hand, and they said, from I have given my consent, you both can get married, and now you can kiss each other. So we find the play somewhat very humorous, somewhat very weird. The characters behave in that strange manner. They have those peculiar attributes of greediness. They are quarreling every time, but marriage at the back end of their mind is more or less like an alliance for them, where they're going to be befitted, where they're going to be benefited from them, right? So we find the play in a sense very ironical, in a sense very weird, but yes, somewhat perhaps it is the replica of the society, showing what exactly is happening in today's society, or perhaps a Russian society which it depicts of those days, right? We can give a pause here.